Meeting will now come to order. Please rise in the pledge of allegiance. Ready to begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Recording secretary, can you please take roll? Ms. Dalla? Present. Ms. Lisa Vargas?
Present.
Ms. Gates? Present. Ms. Sarmiento?
Present.
Ms. Betty Castañeda? Present. Thank you. Item 10, presentations. 10A is to introduce and welcome the new employees. Dr. Hernandez?
Good evening. I'd like to introduce our new employees. When I say your name, if you could please come up and stand right here. For COVID protocols, I am going to ask that the board president still stay seated. So I'm going to start with Jocelyn Eloy. Come on up, Jocelyn. Jocelyn is an instructional assistant healthcare at Central School. She has worked as a resident relations coordinator for Friendship Matter Nursing and Rehabilitation Center and in customer service for Amazon Prime. Welcome. Our next employee is Yvette Maldonado. And Yvette, there she is up there. She wasn't able to join us today. Ms. Maldonado, Instructional Assistant Healthcare, Central School. Ms. Maldonado has experience working as an assistant receptionist for Peniel Ministries, managing all office duties as assigned. She has over 10 years of customer service experience working in retail. So when you see her, welcome her at Central. Our next employee also couldn't make it, but there's a picture of her, Nisa Perez. Nisa Perez is our resource specialist program teacher at Lincoln Acres School. Ms. Perez holds an education specialist instruction credential in mild moderate, a BA in sociology from California State University Northridge, and a master's in special education mild moderate from National University. She worked as a school psychologist for the Sweetwater Union High School District and as an educational specialist and behavior specialist for the Cajon Valley Union School District. Welcome, Nisa. And then our last employee, and I see her over there, Susana Samaniego. Come on up, Susana. Susana Samaniego is an administrative assistant school for Central School. Ms. Samaniego has experience working as a human resources administrator for Hawkins-Dean Charter Schools and as an administrative assistant working for Mossy Nissan Company. She holds a certificate of completion for human resource management and administration. Welcome, Susana. So welcome to National School District.
Moving on to item 11, public communications. Public communications provides the public with an opportunity to address the board regarding an item on the agenda or other topic. Anyone who wishes to address the board shall submit a request for oral communications card. Cards are available near the entrance to the boardroom and are to be submitted to the recording secretary. A member of the public who wishes to address the board on any such matters is limited to 3 minutes for one matter, up to 5 minutes for all matters. There shall be a limit of 20 minutes for any matters unless such time limit is waived by the majority vote of the board. Members of the public may not yield any time to other speakers. No board action can be taken. Can I have Marlene? I'm sorry, I don't know how to say the last name. I think it's I-R.
Yes.
Okay. Irigoyen. Can you please go to the podium?
Hi, good afternoon. So the reason I'm here is I never received the letter that was emailed on April 18th. That's the first. So my question was, how are we making sure that all of our parents that have their kids in special education are aware of what's going on? So I call on April 25th. I spoke with Ms. Elizabeth at 2:25 p.m. and I asked about this letter. And another thing that came up was, are only our kids that are in special education receiving this letter? And she couldn't answer me. She just told me, let me double check. That letter is not intended or meant to be received to all students. And I asked, okay, can you clarify on that? And she was not able to clarify on that. She goes, sorry, we're at the beginning stages. My next question was, what are the beginning stages? Stages of what? In regards to the letter. So we went on, and she left a message for coordinator Cece Garcia. She goes, I'm going to leave a message for her. She'll contact you within 24 hours. And she did. Ms. Cece Garcia called me the following day at 10:44 a.m. And I asked the same thing. I didn't get this letter. And she said, okay, let me look into that. Let me do my homework. So my questions were not answered. I go, my first question. Okay, so who are not the students that are meant to receive this letter? And she was not able to answer my question once again. So, and my next question was, okay, so tell me, how are you determining what kids are able to stay at Central Elementary School and what kids are not? And she said, we have three main factors. Those factors are involved K through third grade, K to 6, and transportation. Can you explain that to me, please? Because I don't understand. She goes, our goal is to provide education to our kids that are in special education to be able to be at one school from K to 6. I go, perfect. So then she goes, transportation. Some of our kids that do require special education are in a transportation during a bus for up to an hour sometimes. Okay. And I go, okay, I understand that. And our conversation went on. Then she explained to me, our goal is for our kids to be at a school from K to 6. So they can be in an environment where they're with friends, they know their staff, and they feel that they're part of their community. I go, perfect. That sounds great. That's amazing. Then I go, okay, so how are we determining what kids stay at Central? She was not able to answer my question.
Sorry to interrupt. You need to wrap up. Your time is now up. So please wrap up.
Okay, so my main concern is I didn't get the letter. I did get the letter, the 15. I got the letter that was sent today. And today, while I picked up my daughter, I stood outside the school, asked parents if they received the letter. No. So to wrap it up, in the last letter you sent today, in the last chapter or paragraph, it goes, this change will allow our families to exercise the same rights as our general education families to either remain under school or choose another school throughout the permit process. So you're saying we're gonna have equal rights as general education, but they didn't get this letter. And they're not the ones being asked or told that their kids no longer are gonna be able to go back to their home school at Central because there's something that is not working. So explain this to me. Where are we saying that we're being equal when our general education did not receive the letter that our special education received?
Thank you.
Thank you.
we have Rocio Coran, and then after Rocio, we'll have Carlos Navarro.
Good afternoon, I'm Rocio Corral. I'm a parent at Central Elementary. My concern is regarding the restructuring of the special day classes as well. Many concerns in regards to that I wanted to bring to your attention. A lot of questions weren't answered in the first letter was sent to us that I had to search for as well because I did not receive. I got this through another parent. Concerns regarding that, the first letter, I haven't received the second letter that I just saw from another parent this afternoon. It might be in my child's backpack, I don't know. It's not in my emails this afternoon. Concerns regarding the restructuring. Concerns regarding how come we weren't notified about this and why hasn't it been part of my child's IEP plan? Because the location of my child's services should be something that is coordinated between his IEP team at school and myself. I don't think that a board should be making that decision for my child. Concerns about transportation, yes, I understand sometimes kids are on the bus for a long time. But that transportation is what gets them where they need to be with the people that they need to be with to obtain the education that they need. My child's homeschool, I personally don't feel can provide that for my child, and I have not been given the choice or the opportunity to voice how I feel regarding that. So I think that's very important. That's something the board needs to look at. About inclusion, are we really looking at including our children, or are we segregating our special disability children to one school? What are we really doing? Are we including them or making them fall under the inclusion plan, or are we segregating them, moving them to where they could be at one school with one group, with one team? How are they really going to interact with other children? How are they going to get the experience, where there's children at one school that might be in a different ethnicity to where maybe right now he's only working with children that are Hispanic, and I want him to be involved with more children that are Filipino, as an example. He won't get that. I don't know that he'll get that. I don't know that the school where it's planned to be set up at will have that for him. That's one of my other concerns. And then also concerns about the educators at the sites. Are the educators at the sites that are going to be set up, do they have the training for children with disabilities? Do they have currently classes that are mild to moderate? That's not being answered either. So I have a lot of questions and concerns that I guess the letter that was sent today indicates that there's going to be one-on-one meetings. It would have been nice to know that before. Thank you.
Thank you. Carlos Navarro, and then next we'll have Veronica Soto.
Hi, good evening. I am also a parent at Central, and this is about the letter that I didn't receive as well. And the only reason I knew about this was from the Dojo app. How my daughter's classmates reacted on them being moved or teachers being moved. So I'm not really informed of what's going on, but what I see is that these kids are feeling picked on and discriminated from being in their special needs class. Just one little thing, we moved from San Isidro to National City and went to Central School, and we met Ms. Yegan. And my daughter did not know how to read, spell, did not have any confidence to make friends. After meeting Ms. Yegan, she's in the 5th grade now. In those 2 to 3 years, she's in the 6th grade reading level now. She is confident to make friends, stands up for herself. And I don't want to see kids moved or teachers moved because of that. If one kid, and she is my stepchild, And I'm really proud of her. I have her back. Her teacher has her back. And I don't know what's going on, if teachers move or if kids move, but it's going to be a big impact on these kids. So I'm not really informed of what's going on, but it seems like it's going to have a big impact on these kids if the teachers do move or if the students move to another school. And that's my concerning question of what's going on regarding the letter that I didn't get and the kids' reactions of moving or teachers being moved. And that's it.
Thank you. Next we have Veronica Soto, and after it's
Hi, I'm also a parent from Central, and this is my son right here. I'm a little sensitive, sorry. I'm also, and I want your guys' help because my son also went to that school, transferred and, moved to the area to where it was convenient, what was the best for him. Also went to that school, started with, ended with Miss Denise and then Miss Jagan and now with Miss Garcia. Because of that program there and the teachers and everybody, he's came a long way. A kid that didn't speak to anyone, that didn't socialize with anyone, and making it his second home and making it comfortable for us as well, to leave to work and do what we need to do and not be concerned if he's going to get picked on or anything like that. A big change. I know a lot of the parents, a lot of you guys, maybe we think, oh, change is good for kids, but not our kids. It's hard for them to readjust, especially coming back from what we all went through, and them being home and doing online was hard. And it was hard for us as parents because we had to be parents and teachers. So to me, these teachers getting moved around and leaving comfort zones for our kids hurts us because we're not going to leave, drop them off and be comfortable. My kid still needs 2 more years there. I have my daughter, that's our homeschool. How am I supposed to split them up? Go to one school and, drop off the other one? For her, it's going to be hard to leave. Are they going to take my daughter to a different school? I want you guys to consider that. Having a disabled kid is not, with a disability, it's not easy for us. And having this transfer for them to change, it's hard. And it's something that I will want you guys to help us and consider us as parents and consider the teachers and consider our kids, because it's hard for them to readjust. And new school, new kids, we're comfortable where we're at. That helps us, that helps them. And if you guys could please just bring this up and hopefully, you guys could make a change, because you guys need to consider these kids more than regular kids. These are the ones we need to take care of a little bit extra than the regular kids. So I'm here asking you, pleading you guys to please help us out with that. Thank you.
thank you. Next, last name is Lopez. Your first name?
Marcia.
Marjam?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm emotional right now. I'm fighting for my kid when he's born. I'm fighting for him always. I know when I come in here in the United States, always I promise can be a fight for health and for education. When I know he's out, I promise him I want to spend with him. And the more angry I am is because I noticed that change in the moms and the dads told me when I picked up my kids. And I had one kid and passed away. And for me, that's my problem. My kids be changed. I be able for picking up the other one. And Blaine is so sensitive like me. When I come in here and I come in the pathway and he changed everything. He fighting, he yelling because he be
not comfortable for the change. You know that the special kids is that happen. I don't want that happen again. The teacher here in Central helped me so much, and that be a part of my life. My kids blame blame is part of the life, the Central. Yeah, I feel like the discriminated. That's the word for me, discriminated. And I always my wish like that is like he feel comfortable that all kids, no special needs, can be grow up and get job, marry, and fight the life here like the normal kid. So that's my question for you. Can be pay my shoes like the Mexicans say, pónganse en mis zapatos. That's the only thing about it. And me and the other kids and the parents, he don't know. The problem is not here. It's not fighting for our kids. But I hear and so many parents here for talk like that my kid can do that. So I am the mom. Yeah, I wanna fighting for him. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And last we have Jesus Gonzalez. Is there-
He says he'll pass.
Thank you, and that is the conclusion of our public communications. Just to reiterate, we're not able to respond to any public comments. We do direct staff to go back and to answer all the questions and concerns, and then get back to the parents with any updates and so on. So thank you for your patience and allowing us to get back to you because we're unable to respond at this time. Item 12, agenda. 12A is to accept the agenda. May I get a motion?
So moved.
Or second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? If not, please vote. The motion was made by Lizaraga. The second, I'm sorry. Right, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, please.
Yeah, it's lit up.
Item passes unanimously.
Thank you. Item 13 is to approve consent agenda, routine items of business. All items listed under the consent agenda are considered routine and will be acted upon in one action item by the board. It is understood that the superintendent has recommended approval for these items. There will be no discussion prior to the item. The board votes on the motion unless members of the board, staff, or public request specific items to be discussed and or removed from the consent agenda. All items approved by the board will be deemed and as considered in full and adopted as recommended. Can I get a motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Please vote.
Item passes unanimously.
Thank you. Item 14, general functions. Item 14A is to approve the minutes of the special board meeting held on April 11, 2022. Can I get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Do we have any discussion?
should abstain from this. So I shouldn't second it. Yes, I seconded it. I'll abstain.
Did you want to still be?
Love my second.
So let's go back. We have a motion by Ms. Gates. Ms. Sarmiento will pull her second. Does anybody, let anybody else to second? That was present at the board meeting.
I will second that.
Right here. We have to ask.
Is it voting?
Now, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Okay, please vote. Just for clarification, when we as a board member are absent at a board meeting, since we were not present, we should not be voting on a item that we were not in attendance of. So let's go back, please, and clear that and we vote. So we have a first by Ms. Gates and a second by Ms. Fowler.
That's correct.
We're on 14A.
14A, okay, that's what my question was, thank you.
Right. So item 14A, with 3 yes and 2 abstentions. Thank you. Item 14B is to adopt resolution 21-22.23 regarding the absence of board member Ms. Alma Sarmiento due to illness. Can I get a motion?
I move to approve.
We have a motion. Can we get a second?
I'll second that.
Do we have any discussion? Please vote. The motion passes with 4 yes and 1 abstention. Item 14C is to adopt resolution 21-22.24 regarding absence of board member Ms. Rosina Lizarraga due to hardship.
So moved.
I will second.
Before we move on, I just wanted to thank you, Ms. Lizarraga, for informing the board due to your absence. And so since we didn't have an explanation, my understanding it was due to a family emergency. Yes, just for clarification and the transparency reasons. That way we can add that to the agenda.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes,
So-
thank you.
Thank you. So with that, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any additional discussion? Please vote. Motion passes 4 yes and 1 abstention. Item 14D. Item 14D is to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting held on April 13, 2022. Can I get a motion?
Make a motion with clarification.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Ms. Gates?
In that, under 15C, it states that I abstained from a vote and I didn't know it. Or no, it states that I recused myself from a vote. I abstained from voting. I don't know how important it is to have that corrected, but I didn't have to leave. I just had a personal relationship with the director of the program. So, under 15C, like I said, I just don't know that that needs clarifying. I feel
Do we have,
recused versus abstained.
do you abstain? You didn't.
I abstained, I did not recuse.
So we'll have to get that corrected. Okay. So Would the maker of the motion, as yourself, like to,
So with correction to
Correction.
15C, me abstaining, and move for those to be accepted.
in a second?
Second with the correction.
Do we have any additional discussion? Please vote.
This is the one for the April 11th, is correct?
14D.
Okay, I was.
April 13th.
You got that, Brian?
April, April 13th, but isn't Michelle talking about
April 13th.
13th?
We just need your vote. We just need your vote.
So then I'm going to abstain.
So we have 4 yeses and 1 abstention. Thank you. And then 14E is to adopt resolution 21-22.28 regarding the absence of board member Ms. Maria Dalla due to illness.
To approve.
I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? No. Please vote. So the motion was made by Ms. Sarmiento and the second by Ms. Lizarraga. We have vote 4 yes and 1 abstention. Thank you. Item 15, educational services. 15A is to approve contract CT 3788 and amend revenue of memorandum of agreement between San Diego County Superintendent of Schools and National School District for the after-school education and safety grant. Can I get a motion?
So move with discussion.
I will second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Ms. Sarmiento?
Yeah, it was brought to my attention recently that the city of National City is also talking about adding an after-school program, and I had received a phone call regarding that. This is not the same as the REACH program, is that correct? Or is it?
Yes, actually, REAP is funded. This is the grant that comes from the state. The county is the recipient of the grant, and there are 28 districts who receive the grant through the county. And then with these funds, and you'll see in the subsequent item, these are the funds we use to offset the cost for REACH to deliver the program, and under the guidance of the state of what these programs are supposed to be, the after-school criteria, before school and after-school criteria.
Thank you.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any additional discussion? Okay. Dr. Brown.
Thank you, President Betancourt Castaneda. I did want to bring to the board's attention that annually, the way that the grant program works, it's kind of a tiered system. The state releases the funds go to the county goes to the districts who are participating in the grant. Normally, as you know, I had noted in the board memo, we, all of us, the districts that are in it, because we all start different times during the year, get approval for an approximate revenue. We get guidance about the approximate revenue so we can start up our after-school program when our schools start. And then the county waits for the state to generate the formal letter, and they then, which generally in our practices has come around, October, November, and you'll see then I generally bring it to the board at that point. However, due to CDE shortages and impact of the pandemic is what I was told, instead of receiving this MOU in November, which is our normal time, it didn't come until March. And so the county did inform me this is what we normally receive in November, because I was a bit confused. and that they anticipate will be back on normal time frame by next year. But, I did follow up, but I just wanted to let the board know that this is just an extension due to the impact of the pandemic.
Thank you. Do we have any additional questions or discussion?
I'm just wondering that Dr. Kraft is, for clarification, is that release of funds? Or is that simply the documentation? Because release of funds means we're front loading. So I'm just wondering.
So we generally get approval for the amount of money that we anticipate for apportionment. Our business does cover the cost of REACH while the state generates. And I've asked the county if they could expedite it or have it sooner. And the response, and I actually asked again, the response is that they're dependent on the state to provide it. So, and it's the practice across all the districts. And so then they do release the funds. I don't know when we actually receive them from the county in terms of the actual ACES funds. But I know at the end of the year, we get quarterly reports of the expenditures, and it is charged against the ACES monies. REACH charges it to us, we charge it against ACES monies.
So you're bringing this before us at this point in April because you just got the paperwork in March. So that is separate from the fund release. Okay, I was just trying to clarify because there's a big difference in us paying August, September, October, and maybe a little bit of November, and then us paying the whole way through till now. Okay, thank you. It was just paperwork. Okay.
Yes, so the contract, the paperwork is approved for the first time. You have already approved us to start pulling from those funds, which we pull, and the county says, yes, start your programs, it's okay, we'll cover it. This is for an additional revenue increase of $252,000, which is why we're bringing it kind of in this combined, confusing way.
She did a good job with that.
Thank you.
Approve the paperwork and amend the amount we thought we were getting to increase it by $252,000.
Thank you. That goes to my question to, on top of the questions that I have that already, Mrs. Gates already clarified. This can be a benefit. What's the possibilities now for kids that are going to be in after school for all the schools? Because we know we authorize puppetry, for example, music classes or speech or soccer academy. So what is the possibilities to use this funding to not overlap with what we already have and make it accessible for all of us and the planning and the process for obtaining those in schools? So this is my question. Thank you.
So the ACES funds do have criteria, and you do have to do the reporting and have the component. And there are three main components of vigorous activity, academics, and enrichment. And they're fairly broad and give flexibility to school districts. And so since I've been here, we've been trying to merge and provide continuity between the regular day and the extended day. And so we have been each year adding and enriching, except we had a pause with the pandemic, each of those category activities. So, for a long time, the academic piece was considered homework, but it doesn't need to be. It can be, project-based learning. It can be first Lego League. And so we're working, we work closely with the county to make sure we're within the parameters. And then we do work with REACH to look for contract vendors to provide those services and increase those opportunities for our students in the after school. In your second part, or the first question you asked is about, our funds. We do get those funds that are under ACES to meet those parameters, but nothing precludes us from interweaving, let's say LCAP funds, braiding is the word we would use, LCAP funds to fortify any of the activities that we want that may be above and beyond what we currently offer within the program. For an example, one of the examples would be a Reach for Joy. We did the summer program in the original contract that was awarded to the county from the state. Summer was not included. We did just receive new grant monies that will cover it, but so those monies, we graded LCAP money to provide those in-person services around social, emotional, being joyful and being around each other, and extended our REACH contract to do that. So nothing precludes us from doing that, but and you'll be seeing another contract coming through with REACH because we did receive one-time monies that allow us to do things that the ACES money doesn't do.
Thank you. Any additional discussion? Okay, we have a motion and a second, please vote. Motion passes 5 yes. Item 15B is to amend contract CT 3045 with South Bay YMCA of San Diego County for before and after school program. Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Oh, second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion?
I do, thank you. Knowing the fact that Reach is different than the YMCA is not different. So that got me the question when I was reading through the agenda last night. So YMCA is Reach that always subcontract to provide those after school programs. So what's the possibilities of putting the umbrella of YMCA out there? We need to request some more services, I don't know, more additional support. Because I don't know what's the data behind it to approve this part of what I'm looking forward for the next school year or in the other school year. So I'm not sure at this point if it's doing effectively or it's being measured, the impact of the help that the kids are receiving, how many kids are enrolled. So I would like to see that part of the data to consider for next year, which is potential for future services. So because we're gonna have some more grant monies, we're gonna be able to expand the services, maybe support whatever they're doing on now. So I don't know what's gonna be happening after. Do we see if it's effective in that?
Yes, thank you. So with this item is a result of the, so REACH is through the, its official title, the YMCA. And so the contract that we do hold with the YMCA REACH requires that if there is an increase or decrease of revenue being provided to us by the ACES funds, that we need to then amend our contract to reflect accordingly to their contract.
Okay.
The new monies are separate from these ACES funds. And so their ELOP, the Expanded Learning Opportunity Program, and those monies are enhancing and enriching the extended day, but they also add opportunities for intersession, like when we're in fall break or spring break and summer. So, but we can utilize and grade those funds to bring in vendors or like YMCA, Zumba or something like that.
Yeah.
We can bring that in with these funds. And it would just be a matter of programming and making sure that within the ACES program, we're still meeting those grant requirements.
Okay.
Because it can't just be, it has to meet those 3 criteria, but we're maximizing those pieces.
Yeah, I ask you because compared what we had before YMCA, it was WINGS program. That was back on those days when the kids have spelling bee contesting, they have soccer academies, they have rugby, they have very successful. So how we can implement this with the YMCA that aligns and got the umbrella of the after school program. So it's just my question right now that we're having this motion approved for this specific item to amend the contract with them and how the success is being measured to see if we can continue with the services or not. Just a question that arises to me.
Primarily we solicit, feedback through a survey, and then we really monitor attendance. Attendance, participation rate is probably, there was a dip in participation rate. And what happens when you have lower participation rate with the grant is that you put yourself in a position where you may get less monies as a result of it. So we have been really focused on increasing our participation rate in before and after school. You have to hit a certain percentage that's set forth in order to maintain your current funding. In addition, we've been adding additional components and weaving them in with enrichment, with after-school learning, with those types of programs that are still meeting the grant requirements, but it's also increasing our participation rate, which over time, when there's a renewal process or review, we will stand in a better position to get increased funding.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to see our sports expand. I remember when I was in school here, there was a friendly, competition between the schools that you would play within the soccer. It was soccer, basketball, football, and it was cheerleading.
Not so
So,
rugby, I guess.
well, not when I was in school. We didn't do rugby. That was
They were champions.
not even at age myself, but that's a more recent sport that's been introduced at least in our community. But I'd like to see not just tied into the after-school program, but after-school in general. I know that I've been asking for many years about this, but to see how we can accommodate, because not all parents want their children in after-school program, but would really benefit and would really like their kids to be in the after-school sports.
Yeah,
And I can very vividly remember, having those games at the high school for basketball and the football games were at Las Palmas and soccer games. So all that stuff we need to try to bring more of our families out from behind screens and outdoors that is not very common these days, to give them a different outlet than what we've been experiencing. Because especially with the pandemic, it's been very challenging. So I think that would be a benefit for our students to be able to have those additional outdoor activities.
Thank you, President Betancourt Castaneda. I will explore those options and okay, you can find us cheerleading coaches, and I will explore those and bring those and to see what potential opportunities are outside of the grant, but possibly partnerships. I think that's a wonderful suggestion that we can explore moving forward.
I don't think Ms. Betancourt Castaneda and I are offering to catch any cheerleaders though anymore. Just putting that out there.
Never too late.
If there's a point that it's too late. So one of the things I noticed just as glancing at the numbers, and I was trying to figure out why they stood out to me. So in our summary, we had in 15A that on June 9th, we were approved for $2,051,140.89. And then the expenditure not to exceed was $2 million in B, $2,010,118.07 for a difference of $41,022.82. It's sixth grade math, I can do.
Sorry.
And what I'm noticing, just interestingly enough, is that there's an exactly between the contract cost and revenue increase in 15A and the contract cost and expense in 15B is exactly that $41,022.82 pickup. And while on one hand we would be just coming to a 0 point between what we're given and what we're spending, I'm wondering why there was a $41,000 difference, and now it's kind of being fixed. Maybe it should be. I'm just noticing the difference in amounts. Sorry.
It's okay.
I just want to be able to respond to you accurately.
Oh, good, thank you.
The 41,000 is a 2% administrative fee from the San Diego County Office of Ed to basically be the administrator of the program.
Okay, because it's listed as a 47,012 in the A piece, which is 6,000 more than what the difference
The
is.
47 would be based on a new allocation that ACES has. So if 41 was when we originally had our allocation, and then the 47 is, it basically is a 2% of the total revenue. So 41 would be the prior amount, 47 is the new amount.
Okay, and that is what brings everything into balance.
Correct.
Okay. I like balance. I like it when numbers do like come to that nice, neat point. I just wasn't sure why there was that difference. Okay, thank you.
Do we have any additional discussion? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Item 16, human resources. 16A is to conduct a public hearing pursuant to Government Code Section 3547 regarding the initial proposal from California School Employees Association and its Chapter 206 to the National School District for the 2022-2023 school year. Public hearing is now open. Dr. Hernandez?
Yes, this year, CSEA with their sunshine is, they are asking for Article 12, Health and Welfare Benefits. And CSEA seeks to negotiate that the district shall cover the entire cost of any increase to health and welfare benefits for all bargaining unit employees for the 2022-2023 school year.
Thank you. And do we have any speakers? Do we have any comments?
No.
Okay, this public hearing is now closed. Item 16B, conduct public hearing pursuant to Government Code Section 3547 regarding the initial proposal for the National City Teachers Association to the National School District for the 2022-2023 school year. This public hearing is now open. Dr. Hernandez?
NCETA wishes to bring forth the following articles for negotiations for the 2022-2023 school year. Article 14, Health and Welfare Benefits, increase district contribution. Article 15, Salaries, increase compensation. Article 19, Special Education, address workload concerns. Article 6, Hours, address workload concerns. Article 24, Enrichment, address enrichment program, including schedules and assignments. And Article 10, Class size, make improvements to class size. Thank you.
Thank you. And do we have any speakers? No. Thank you. Do we have any discussion questions? No. This public hearing is now closed. Thank you. Item 16C is to adopt resolution 21-22.25 in recognition of Certificated School Employee Week from May 2nd to the 6th of 2022.
I move to adopt resolution 21-22.25.
Can I get a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Item 16D is to adopt resolution 21-22.26 in recognition of Classified School Employee Week, May 16 to the 2022. Can I get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I will second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Please vote. The motion passes unanimously. Item 16E is to adopt resolution 21-22.27 in recognition of the week of the school administrator, May 23rd through 27, 2022. Can I get a motion?
So moved. I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? None, please vote. Ms. Sala, can we get your vote, please? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Item 16F is to ratify and approve recommended action and personnel activity list. At this time, I'm going to ask Board Clerk to take over as I will be recusing myself on this item.
Yeah.
Item 16F is to ratify, approve recommended actions in the personnel activity list. Do I have a motion?
Oh, and so moved.
I second the motion.
Motion by Ms. Gates, second by Ms. Lizarraga. If no discussion, please vote.
Item passes 4 yes, 1 recuse.
Thank you. Moving on to item 16G is to amend authorization for additional services with Swing Education for substitute services. Can I get a motion?
I would move to amend the authorization.
I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Ms. Gates?
I'm wondering if the 39% fee is standard. I'm assuming it probably is, but that's one wondering. The service fee.
It is standard, and it's actually lower for us since we've been with Swing for many years now, that they've kept it the same for us.
All right.
Okay, do we have any additional questions? Please vote. The motion passes unanimously. Item 17, business services. 17A is to adopt resolution 21-22.29, authorizing issuance of bonds in the amount of $10 million. And Mr. Evanescence?
So tonight we'll be asking for permission from the board to sell up to $10 million in bonds, not to exceed $10 million. We have our financial advisor, John Isom, available through the internet to answer any questions you may have tonight. This is just authorization to go and sell the bonds, and that could mean market conditions allow for us to sell the bonds, not necessarily sell at any cost. Mr. Isom would advise us on best timing for selling the bonds. On this past Monday, we did do a call with Moody's for our credit rating, and we're anticipating that to come in a couple weeks. And that's the first step. The next step is authorization from the board. And then the next step would be timing as to when we want to go to the market. And Mr. Isom could speak more about that.
Good evening. Members of the board, Facebook and community members. My name is John Isom of Isom Advisors. Just to give you kind of a little additional overview as to what Eric had spoken to. This is a very good time to be in the market and accessing dollars. Even with recent increases in interest rates, we're coming off the heels of an extremely low, in fact, the lowest interest rates in history. So this is very advantageous for you as a district to be able to access dollars for capital projects, obviously improve our classrooms and school facilities, but it's also very advantageous for your taxpayers, right? It's the property taxpayers who are repaying the debt, and the lower the interest rates we can get for them, the better. But this evening, you have in front of you the legal documents that have been prepared that establish really the parameters of this finance that ensure that these are known as tax exempt bonds, meaning whoever buys them doesn't have to pay taxes on them. So they get a much lower interest rate, and you get a much lower interest rate as an issuer. But this is a key first step for you in approving the resolution. It will essentially deputize your district administration to go ahead and complete some things on your behalf, specifically, like Eric mentioned, timing the market, getting into the market, pricing the bonds, and ultimately agreeing to a proposal on those particular bonds based on our recommendations to the district. It will also direct the county to do some things on your behalf, specifically hold 2 different accounts. One account is your spending money, and one account is the repayment money. So the dollars that you spend will be held at the county, and anytime you need to draw on those dollars, you request the county to do that. And on the repayment account, every year, the county tax collector is going to collect taxes from your taxpayers, your property owners, and those tax dollars will be used to make the payments for the investors for that particular year. So this resolution, like I say, directs a number of different parties to go do things on your behalf. Essentially, it caps us at no more than $10 million, which is, I think, in line with what the district's expectations are as far as being able to spend those dollars within a 3-year period of time. And then again, like I say, it kind of deputizes us and the administration to go ahead and get things completed. So we don't have to come back to you and say, what do you think of these interest rates? What do you think of those interest rates? Should we lock in the deal? You're basically saying, hey, this is the parameters that we're giving you. Make sure you don't go outside those lanes. Get us the best deal possible. As fiduciary, my role as fiduciary is to do just that, is to provide you with the best financial advice in your financial interest, not mine, not the banks, not the investors. And so I'll be working very closely with Eric and Leangela to ensure that you guys get the best deal. So I could keep going on and on. I'm passionate about this, but I also know that you guys have a busy board meeting. So I'm happy to take any questions that you guys might have on the bond process overall, or even specific questions as it relates to the legal documents and the resolution in front of you tonight.
Ms. Sala?
So ultimately, who is the person who makes the decision as to go ahead and lock in the interest rates?
That will be either Eric or Leangela, and that is accompanied by our recommendation. So if we don't like what we're seeing, so ultimately what happens is there's 2 days of pricing. There's a pre-pricing day and there's a pricing day. The pre-pricing day, the underwriter says, all right, we've marketed these bonds for the last week, and this is what we're hearing back from investors. So we're going to propose the following interest rates, following structure for all of the bonds to the penny, to the 3rd decimal point to the right as far as interest rates. And that's kind of a soft proposal because they don't know, that's based on pre-marketing. And on that pre-pricing call, we'll have a conversation and we'll say, you know what, I think that makes sense, or I think you need to sharpen the pencil a little bit. But I think based on those recommendations, we will preliminarily agree to that proposal. And then what happens is that the underwriter the next morning will take bids from the actual investors. And myself and Eric and Leangela and anyone else can actually log in and see those bids coming in. So we'll get an idea. Do we have no buyers? Do we have too many buyers? And then we'll have a second conference call, whereby we review the actual bids. And what is typical is the underwriter will say, you know, I was able to find buyers for 85% of the bonds, but not the other 15. Those are things, that's a conversation we like to hear, and I'll tell you why. If they came back and said, you know what, we found buyers for all the bond, and they all got sold within the first 15 minutes, what would that tell us? Wow, the interest rates were so attractive, right, that everybody gobbled them up. Well, maybe there was a little bit too attractive for the investors, not for you. The flip side is, we don't want to have a scenario where they say we found no buyers, because then the interest rates were way too low and weren't enough to attract buyers. But when you can find that little balance and we found enough buyers for most, Then the underwriter will ultimately buy the rest of the bonds, the 15% unsold, and they'll take that risk, and then it's up to them to sell it. But we don't care because as a school district, we know we're locking in very low interest rates. So if, in our opinion, we think it makes sense, we would then recommend at the conclusion of that second call, we think this is fair, or we think this is fair with the following adjustments. We think they should increase the interest rate here in these years. We think they should lower the interest rate in these years there. And there's a lot of information that we have at our disposal, comparable sales, other school districts like yours that are selling bonds. There's a lot of stuff that we use to kind of twist the arms. But at the conclusion of that call, the only authority resides with your district administration, but we play an important role in providing that advice and that recommendation.
Any additional questions? Thank you for your time. So we're going to go ahead and move on with item. Can we get a motion for item 17A?
I move to adopt resolution 21-22.29.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. And before we go to any additional discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you for your time, Mr. Isa, and your expertise.
You bet. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Item 17B is to accept donations. Can I get a motion?
I'll move to accept donations.
A motion, and can I get a second?
Second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any questions or discussion? No, please vote. The motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Item 18, Board Cabinet Communications, Ms. Stella.
I would like to congratulate all our new employees. And I'd like to also publicly congratulate our administrative assistants here present and throughout the district. Thank you very much. That's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Ms. Lizarraga.
Thank you. Today was a very emotional day with all the memories that come to my head. And I can feel the struggle with kids with special ed, especially jumping from school to school, trying to get the best for our kids. So thank you so much for listening, taking your notes, and let's plan ahead together. I would like to congratulate our new employees, and I have several of them. They go to Central School, and Mrs. Perez as well. And I would like to get also the ND diversity and inclusion, and I would like to shout out to Dr. Brady for running the roundtable for parents. It was really meaningful for all the parents that have questions, and make it exclusively for parents and be listening to them. So thank you so much, Dr. Brady, for shining on that part. So I'm excited for the new money that's coming from the after school program. Thank you, Dr. Kraft, for that. So I would like to also give a shout out to Ms. Segura that I saw her in Olive Gardens in the morning. She was jumping and having fun with the students in the morning. Mr. Denegri was there taking pictures of the kids, and I encourage all the principals and teachers and Smith with their students, and they really shine when they go there and they have the time for themselves too and see what their students are doing. So I would like to invite you to the garden to see what the kids are doing, and thanks to the collaboration for all of you and approving those funding so they can get the benefits. So, and we'll hopefully can expand the project, the benefits of having the experience of, I never tried this food before. It makes me happy. I'll try new foods today. So it's very, very, very fulfilling. Thank you so much and have a great night.
Thank you. Ms. Gates.
Well, happy Certificated School Employees Week next week. And just want to make sure that we honor all our teachers and our school psychs and our RSP and ed specialists and I always forget somebody and I really hate that. Our slips and our everyone who falls under that category, we not only just want to say happy week, but we honor you for the work that you do daily with our children. And for our parents who came and shared with us, my youngest is graduating this year, but I remember how hard it is to turn your child over to somebody else every day and trust that they have your child's best interest at heart. I know how hard it is every year to go, wow, it's a new teacher or a different circumstance. And you hope and you pray that you're making the best decision for your child. So thank you for coming tonight to share your heart with us and know that we don't take that lightly. So 2 last things, 31 days. 31 days till June 9th, 31 school days till June 9th. Just putting that out there.
But it's counting.
I'm counting, it's on my board, my children insist, and we share that schedule. And then I have a question that I know we need to think about. We have relied heavily on some of the extra monies, the one-time monies we have had coming in. And those have gone into helping us maintain our sub pool. But that has included us paying quite a bit for subs. And I just am not sure how sustainable that it is for any district long-term. And so I know that's something we're going to need to revisit it, and it is on my mind. We have 31 days this year, but we have next year coming. So I'm interested to hear what thoughts and plans are, because truly we can't run without subs either. So that is a question I have. Thank you all for everything that you presented tonight.
Thank you. Ms. Anita?
Yes, I concur with the sentiments of my fellow board members. Also, I'd like to just shout out to my daughter-in-law whose birthday is this evening, and I'm missing a birthday dinner. But she's a wonderful young lady, and I just want to say thank you to her. That's all.
Thank you. Mr. Avanesio?
So yesterday in the state of California was Bus Driver Appreciation Day. I just want to say I really appreciate our bus drivers. They work really hard. I had an opportunity to go on a route with them one time. They know the students by name, by sight. They know the parents by name, by sight. They know their habits. They know their tendencies to be early or late. It's amazing how much the bus drivers know, that our bus drivers know about the community. So I just want to give them a thank you. Plus, Candy Byerly, the director, she does drive a bus as well. And her staff and Velia in her office who keeps that place together. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. Is that it?
Yes, I'd also like to thank the bus drivers, the transportation department, and then also to wish our certificated staff a wonderful next week. We do appreciate them a lot. And then finally, I just want to wish our students good luck, because I know they're entering into the testing season or month really, and I know that their hard work will definitely pay off, and have a good night.
Thank you. Jessica?
Thank you. I wanted to also thank the parents that came tonight to share their hearts as a fellow parent. I feel the challenges that we face with our students and giving them to others to care for during the day. And I wanted to let the board know that we are scheduling one-on-one meetings with the parents to ensure that they have accurate information, as there seemed to be some confusion misinformation that in that particular class. So we are actually working on that right now to make them a priority and to reach out to them immediately so that we can move forward with peace, because that's what we really want. I'd like to also thank our administrative assistants. We got to spend the day, a portion of the day at the school site, and they just, the office teams as well as those of the district, just make the world go a little smoother. And so really appreciate their work, and then wish the certificated staff a well-deserved celebration for next week. We really appreciate everything they do for our students.
Thank you. Dr. Brady?
Yes, I'd like to start by saying a happy Administrative Professionals Day to Vanessa and to Jocelyn and to all of our administrative professionals throughout the district. You really are those right hands to so many people, and we really can't do the work we do without you. I wanted to let you know that North Island County Credit Union called me today to let me know that they have 2 Padre tickets on June 26th for both Vanessa and Jocelyn for working so closely with them. So you can take your significant other and go to the Padres game and see the Phillies play. So they will be coming to do a presentation, and they'll be bringing them with them.
Sorry.
It's Jocelyn and Vanessa. I think maybe one of you has to take Mrs. Gates. And that's June 26th. Did I say that day? Okay. I also wanted to just say thank you to the board for approving unanimously again this year all of our resolutions for the month of May for our certificated, our classified, and our administrators, our bus drivers. There's so much to celebrate, and we'll be celebrating all of those appreciation weeks as they come. But thank you for always putting staff as a priority and thanking them publicly through these resolutions each year. We're excited on May 4th to kick off our recognitions of staff and students. Don't forget to vote for your story so we can announce our story winner. Thank you for the board members who got them in really quick. If you haven't gotten them in already, please don't forget to do that so we can get our medals engraved and put the winner in a top secret sealed envelope. And then finally, I'd just like to end by saying happy birthday to your daughter-in-law, Miss Aminta.
Ms. Castañeda, can I add another extra comment that makes me really happy, and this has related to the school. Tonight I'm celebrating 9 years of behavioral interventions with my son. He's finally graduating for the verbal behavioral associates that he's in. He's 11 and he's been 9 years on that. So particularly myself and my family is very appreciative of all the school because he's been in the school since he was 3. So tonight we're celebrating and big compliments. Now it's time for the fun because he has plenty of time in the afternoon. He's planning to go swimming. He's planning to go soccer. He's planning ahead of time. So thank you so much for the public school system that I strongly believe that when you think that team up, a beautiful thing happens. Thank you so much.
So congratulations to your son and your family. Well, we'd like to also welcome our new employees, those who were able to attend and those who were not able to, but thank you and welcome to our family. Also wanted to recognize Administrative Professionals Day. I'm still in the Administrative Assistants Day, so I apologize. I'm still in Professionals Day. Without all of you, like Dr. Kraft said, it would probably be a bumpy road. So thank you so much for that and all your hard work. Thank you to the parents that were here tonight. It is important to hear and for your hear the comments, but for us to see our parents advocate for our students. Oftentimes we don't realize how much of an influence we are to our kids in our community, but it will not fall on deaf ears, and we will make sure that staff follows through and communicates with our families. And again, thank you, because I know it's not easy to come and present in front of the board, but I truly appreciate you taking the time to come before us and share your concerns. Thank you to all of our hardworking bus drivers and a happy belated Bus Driving Appreciation Day. Hopefully they didn't work too hard, but we do appreciate them. And in advance, happy certificated school week to our staff. I know they're overwhelmed, but we truly appreciate all their work, and our students definitely are a benefit of that. So thank you again to everybody for all their hard work, and we'll keep recognizing everybody throughout the weeks. And good luck to our students that will be testing through the month. So it's not a week, but through the month, and hopefully, we will have peace at the end of that, because I know it's been very hectic and busy, but also thank you for all the test givers, because as a prior proctor myself, it's not that part is not easy as well. So thank you to everybody and have a wonderful night. This meeting is now adjourned.